Hi, in this one, we're going to be going over the homework that was assigned to the two Introduction to Exponents videos that I did previously. So here's part one, and here's part two. And if you watch those videos, you should be able to do every problem in this homework. So there's 16 problems altogether, and we're going to try to get through all of them. Okay, so the first one says find the area of each rectangle. Okay, here we have a rectangle where the width is 3x and the length is 9x. Now, something that you always need to have in mind is the formula for figuring out the areas of rectangles and squares. So it's just length times width. Okay, and this applies to both squares and rectangles. So in this case, then all you have to do is multiply 3x by 9x to get your answer. All right, so 3x times 9x is going to be 27x squared. Okay, you multiply your coefficients and you multiply your variables. Since there's two x's, you have an exponent of 2. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we have another rectangle, so it's going to be the same deal. All you have to do is multiply length times width to get your area. And so we're going to multiply 2x and 5x, which gives us 10x squared. Okay, so here we have another problem. It says write the expression in exponential form. So very simple. The base is going to be y. And since there's 1, 2, 3, the exponent is going to be 3. So it's going to be y cubed. All right, number 4, same thing. There's two a's, and then there's a negative 15. So the final answer is going to be negative 15a squared. The convention is to write your coefficient at the front. Okay, so you shouldn't write your answer in this way. You should write it this way. Okay, number 5, again, an exponential form. Just multiply your coefficients or your integers and then combine your variables. So negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. And then since we have two t's, it's going to be t squared. So negative 14t squared. Number 6, again, just count up your variables. So here we have s squared. There's 2 of them. And then there's 2 x's. So x squared and then f. And that's your answer. Okay, and number 7 says match each phrase with the corresponding algebraic expressions. So this is going to have to do with being able to translate words into mathematical symbols or algebraic equations. So the first one, it says the square of x plus the square of y. So this is going to be a sum. Okay, it's going to involve the addition symbol. So square of x is going to be what? X squared. And then y square of y is going to be y squared. So basically, it's going to be x squared plus y squared. So it's going to be b. That one. Okay, for the second one, it says the cube of the quantity x plus y. So anytime you see the word quantity, it means parentheses. So the cube of the quantity of x plus y means you add x plus y first, you surround it in parentheses, and you're going to take the cube of it. Okay, so x plus y cubed. and that is going to be A. For the third one, it says the sum of the cube of x and the cube of y. Sum. So again, it's going to be an addition problem, and it's going to involve the cube of x and the cube of y. So x to the third plus y to the third. And that's going to be C. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we have number 8. And all we have to do is simplify. So this is -5 squared. However, the square, the exponent of 2, only applies to the 5. So your answer is going to be -25. Okay. In this one, the square applies to both the negative and the 5. So when you have two negatives, that gives you a positive, right? Anytime you have an even exponent and you're applying that exponent to a negative, you're always going to get a positive. So it's going to be positive 25. Okay, so in C, another simple problem, but you only need to be aware of PEMDAS. Okay, so here you would do 6 squared, which is 36, and then 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 minus 36 is going to give you -30. Okay, again, just be aware of PEMDAS here. In D, you would do the parentheses first, so 3 minus 6 is -3. Okay, keep that in parentheses. You're going to raise it to the power of 2. Okay, so this is going to end up becoming 2 times +9. Okay, 3 squared is 9, and negative squared is a positive. So 2 times 9 is going to give you 18. E. Okay, once again, just remember your PEMDAS and work on stuff, the grouping symbols first. So like parentheses, brackets, etc. So 5 to the third power is 125. And -3 to the third power is going to be So negative to an odd power is always going to give you a negative. Okay. So -3 to the third power is going to be -27. Okay. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then that is going to be divided by 7 squared, which is 49. So 125 minus 27 is going to be what? 98. Okay. And that's going to be divided by 49. And we should be able to just write this as a fraction. Okay, 98, 49, and I don't believe, yeah, so 49 times 2 equals 98, so this actually equals 2. Okay, 49 times 2. Yep. So 2 is our answer. And number 9, it's telling us to evaluate. So all you're going to do is plug in 5 for x and -4 for y. So 4 times 5 for your numerator, and then your denominator is going to be 5 times -4 plus 4. Simplify, you're going to get 20 on the top, right? 4 times 5 is 20. On the bottom, 5 times -4 is -20. And we have a plus 4. That's going to give you 20 over -16, right? -20 and +4 is -16. Now, 20 and 16 has a greatest common factor of 4. So when you divide the top end by 4, you get 5 over 4. Okay, and it's a negative. So it's negative 5 over 4. And that's going to be your answer. Okay.